obviously game two, and we're excited to continue our growth, continue developing. I thought the first night I was really proud of our guys. I thought our attention to scouting report, our attention to detail was very good, and I thought we played really hard. I thought we were really solid on the defensive end. We've got to continue to grow in that area. We've got to continue to keep making strides there. Only thing I was a little disappointed in were a couple threes late, which were a little soft and unguarded. But our motto is contest every two, contest every shot, make them force and make them take hard twos. And I thought for the most part we did that. Obviously getting off to a great start. And then plus 20 on the glass was something against the nation's leading rebounder that I was very pleased with. So we got to continue to grow on that. Arkansas State comes in. It's a very good basketball team, a team that finished fourth last year in the Sun Belt, which is an extremely underrated conference, a conference that is got very, very good coaching. Mike does a great job there. And you add to them Desi Sills, who's a player from Arkansas who had multiple 20-point games last year, a guy who's a legit high major talent, and a guy who can go get baskets with the best of them. So very, very good team. They're great in transition. They've got an interior threat that is capable of being the league MVP. Very bouncy, 6'7", 6'8", 250 pounds, scores it, finishes everything at the rim. He's got great touch. So this is a basketball team that, again, will play fast. They'll throw a lot of defenses at us. We'll see pressure. We'll see, they've played zone in the past. They've played multiple presses. But again, it will be very similar to Jackson State. They love to get out in the passing lanes, deny, be very aggressive. They gamble. They try to get steals so they can get out in the open court. But a good basketball team, three great guards who are all very capable. They're big, strong, 6'2", 200-pound type guards. And they're really going to challenge us and our principles on the defensive end. Excuse me.
Do you know if you'll have any of the three guards back tomorrow night?
To be determined. We know Kofi's out. The rest we don't.
I guess just with Arkansas State, how similar is North Shadow Mirror to maybe Javius McInnes? I mean, I just know they're both good rebounders, similar size. But.
Yeah, I think he's a little bit bigger, and I think he's a little more skilled. Their athleticism is very, very similar. McInnes was really long and thick through his upper body. This young man's very similar to that. But I think scores it a little in a few more ways than maybe McInnes did. So, but very similar in body build and athleticism.
Hey, Coach, kind of want to ask you about where Alfonso Plummer and Omar Payne are at in terms of their comfortability within the system, and as they're learning that. I mean, last year we saw it took Jacob Grandison a while to get there. Where are the new transfers at in that area?
Yeah, I think they're both in really, really good places. Obviously, we feel pretty good with Plummer. He played 36 minutes the other night, and a guy that, it was amazing with our guards out, was at the top of the scouting report. I mean, the way they guarded him, they were very physical. We've got to do a better job of screening for him, getting him open looks. We've got to do a better job of helping him set some stuff up. But I think he's in a great place. And Omar's, I think, gets more comfortable every single day, just in terms of the pace, the learning, how we do things. We're a little bit different than where he was at previously. So it's breaking some habits and creating some new ones, and he's getting better at that every day.
Coach,
In the back. I noticed that Curbelo was really finding ways to stay involved on the bench, kind of talking with you. I saw him kind of coaching up DeMonte at one point, talking with a ref during a timeout. What does it kind of say about his growth that he's able to, stay that invested, maybe learn something and make an impact when he's not on the floor?
Yeah, for Dre, it's one of the things that I think separates him from a lot of people. It's about being a great teammate all the time, and whatever that is. And everybody's role. Everybody's got a role every single day, and sometimes those roles can change. And obviously he was on the bench. I was really proud of those guys that didn't play the other night. I mean, they were actively involved. They were cheerleaders. They were pulling guys aside in timeouts, telling them what they saw when they were out of the game. Kofi was helping Omar a bunch, and Trent and Curbelo were helping, all of our guards, with advice, and so that's a sign of a really good teammate. And Bello's constantly working to be a great teammate.
Coach, you didn't give up very many second chance points in the first game against Jackson State. It seems like Omer is a kid you'll want to keep off of the offensive glass. So has that been a focus for you in practice? And who are some of the guys you need to have another good game, defensive rebounding?
Yeah, obviously, if we can step out and do the job we did replacing Kofi, it's like I jokingly kidded Kofi, we got 10 more rebounds from that spot than we do with you. So, it's a group effort. Nobody's going to replace Kofi, and we've got to continue to see Coleman. The thing I was really proud of with Benjamin coming in off the bench. He blocked him out every single time. Ben had 20 opportunities to go to the offensive glass. He went 20 times. And if you're getting a fourth of your offensive rebounds back, that's really good. But he's assignment sound. Omar did a great job as well. But good rebounders find rebounds, and the ball finds them. And we got to do that again tomorrow night. And you're talking about a guy that's 4+ rebounds a game on the offensive glass, and those are a lot of possessions. So we got to limit those.
Brad, what are you learning about your team right now when your guys are out, both in practice and in games?
A lot, and it's a give and take, Brett, because I think there's some parts of me that are uncomfortable. Because you want to live your life in that rut. You want to see that. You want to know exactly what you've got every day. You want to know what how you get better. We don't have a lot of those pieces, and just in an example of Kofi, I mean, he's such a priority on the offensive end. Not having Curbelo, not having Trent, those guys are top priorities, and other guys are having to step up. So we've got to find ways to win. We don't have those guys. We got to find ways, and guys are doing that. Guys are paying attention. Guys are listening. Guys are dialing in on scouting reports. We found out Plummer can really handle the ball and make some plays that maybe we didn't think a week ago he could. Jacob Grandison's turning into a legitimate, really, really, really good player. You score 20 a night, and the way he did it was all varieties of ways. You got to like that. DeMonte, versatility, who stepped into the point guard spot. Hey, we're learning a lot. We're learning a lot, and I like what we're learning, and yet you want to find a comfort zone at some point.
What are the steps for Andre to be available, and where's he at in the process of coming back?
There's a lengthy process of interaction of how much they can do day by day to continue to get through it. It's based on stuff I don't even know in terms of the computer test and how you score, and then that sets a process in place, and so he's continuing through that process, and until the final tally's done, I guess, and they tell us where he's at, he's good, he's cleared through it. He's just going through all those processes.
With Alfonso, I mean, you talk after the second exhibition, just challenging him defensively, and I mean, having to do probably a lot more and not just be a shooter against Jackson State. Just what did you think of his overall game where he rebounded, had 3 assists, 3 steals?
So much better. So much better. And again, we've really challenged him. Chester and Tim have done a great job of just really hounding him every day in practice, every play in practice, on the defensive side, and not relaxing. He had one relaxed play where he got beat on a back cut, and they scored a layup. But 3 steals, he was in the gaps, he had active hands, he was attentive, he was, in a game that didn't see a lot of opportunities for him. We actually tried to run a lot to him, and they actually did a pretty good job of guarding some of the actions that we had for him. But he stayed very focused, and again, late in that middle of the second half, we put the ball in his hands. He made a lot of great plays, and so I'm really pleased with his growth on both ends.
Desi Sills had a really good game in their opener, 21 points. So what kind of game does he have, and what are some skills that he has that it might give you some challenges defensively?
Yeah, he's a bucket getter. I mean, he's a guy that scores it at all 3 levels. He's a guy that can really shoot it. He can get going, but really loves to drive it. He's a strong kid. He's got the ability to get downhill. He's got a good little pull-up game, good little float game. You go into SEC games and score 20 plus, you're a good player and have the ability to put the ball in the basket. And he's obviously at the top of the food chain for them in terms of scoring and getting shots, and they run actions to him and put him in a lot of actions. So the first thing we have to do with him is make his shots hard, keep him out of transition, because he's really electric in the open court.
Coach, Omar can obviously jump through the roof. He's got really long arms, and those are great tools for rebounding, but you also need to be effective at tracking the ball in the air. Where's he at in that part of his game right now?
Yeah, I think it's pretty unique that he's a great leaper in space, and yet when you're guarding interior players, especially on the block, you're not in space, you're in traffic. And you're hitting people, and people are hitting you, and I think that's an area that he's grown in, where he's getting more comfortable. Hey, let me go block this guy out, and then go get a rebound, not just flying in from the perimeter, and being able to jump over the rim and snatch a rebound. There's 2 different styles of doing that, and a lot of the interior play that we've seen here early has been. Guys around the block and guys staying close to home. Tomorrow night will be no different. So he's going to have to hit, and he's going to have to make contact, and then sometimes there's a second jump involved, and he's got to be really good at just chasing those balls, and he's getting better at it.
Hey, Coach. With Coleman Hawkins, I know I've seen him get the ball in the post just a few times so far. Not sure how good he is at that. I was wondering if you see that as a strength of his, and if that's something you guys would go back to more.
Absolutely, he's a good low post player. He's a good scorer down there. He can use either hand. He's got great jump hooks. He's got a really good fadeaway. He's got a little step back fadeaway that I'm really comfortable with him shooting. When we get back to our full arsenal, that's going to be a really good option for us. We've got Coleman playing a lot of places. He was backup point the other night. So we've got him handling the ball. We've got him doing a lot of things based on our situation and our circumstances currently. So but yeah, he can really score down there.
What more can you do defensively, or maybe what can you do differently with Omar and Coleman's length? Because I think they swatted 4 total.
Yeah, and that's an area we want to continue to grow at. The thing I liked about their block shots was that they came from the weak side. They came from not just the guy they guarded, and they didn't come in ball screens. And we didn't see a ton of ball screens in the other night. We'll see a few more of those ball screen actions. But they're getting to the ball, and they're pursuing the ball, and those are coming from weak side help when guys don't see them. we're continuing to get better at that, and that's something both those guys are elite at.
Sometimes there's a backstory for why you schedule particular teams in the off season, like coaches are friends and want to have dinner together. Is there any backstory for Arkansas State?
Well, I've known Mike for a long time. Mike's a Florida guy that I got to know really back in the day when I was a junior college coach, and he was an assistant junior college coach in Florida, and we've known each other for a long time. And when I was with Frank, Frank and him have a long history together, so it's just one of those that we've known each other for a long time. They're really good. We're looking for really good home games against quality opponents, and that's how we ended up with this.
Brad, a lot of it was necessity, I think, maybe on Tuesday night. But what have you learned about your freshmen, especially with that game under your belt?
They're going to be good. It's not easy doing what we're asking them to do, and we're a good basketball team. Come in and play every day. Be a part of a scouting report. Be a part of playing against other really good players, and then so much of what you do as a freshman is about you, and you have to put that on a back burner, and get involved with being a great teammate, being a part of something, and it's not easy because everything they're doing has got their heads spinning. And from going to college for the first time to new classes, to new friends, to a new coach, to a new system, to a new level, everything's new. And these guys work. They put in a ton of time. They get better every day. And I was really, really impressed. And RJ comes in the first time he touches the ball, it finds him at the basket, and scores 2 points. And Luke gets a couple clean looks at threes, and it's just it was nice, and Brandon continues to get better, and had his best practice of the year yesterday. So I'm excited about this group.
I guess I'm wondering, timing wise, like, is there an advantage to like a different point of the season? I mean, I guess like their heads are spinning now versus where if they were in a situation like Coleman was in last year, for say where the minutes are spotty in the middle of the year in Big Ten play. Like, does that make sense? Is there a time that is better to try to incorporate them?
Everything's different, and I tell these guys all the time. Everybody's race is run at a different speed, and you all you can do is come every day, listen, work. Don't take it for granted that you're going against DeMonte Williams and Trent Frazier and Curbelo and Kofi. Don't take that for granted. Take that as a positive, that you're learning from the best, and you're learning from really, really good players, and be ready when your time comes, because we all know, as we just found out, I mean, your time can come whether you're truly prepared for it or not. It can come, and this group is really bought into all that.
Are you practicing Kofi different with him out, and how are you keeping him fresh in that?
Yeah, Kofi's a scout team guy, and so he's a guy that we're trying to integrate, keep him on the court, and then on game day he's not allowed to do anything with our team, so he simulates a game on the treadmill. So if he's going to play 30, let's throw out a number, 32 minutes. So he's going to do 32 minutes on a treadmill with a media timeout. But during that time, he is simulating the game verbally, and he's communicating, and he's talking, he's calling out ball screens, he's talking out a great pass. He's calling out our plays, calling out our sets, all while he's running on a treadmill. And then there's a timeout, he gets his minute break. But he's talking in a timeout, and he's simulating those things to try to keep his mind really sharp as well. And plus, it's really hard to communicate and run at the same time. Changing speeds on the treadmill. So we do those things on game day, but then he's also doing quite a bit extra, just because it's there are times when he's out in practice, he's not in, but yeah, he's 4 or 5 days away from being back. A couple games, and if we look at it as games, it seems like it's forever, but in days, it's really pretty quick. So keeping him sharp is mentally and physically is the challenge. Thank you.